Greetings, freaks and folks, this is Vlad the Lad and welcome back to my channel. I'm back to life indeed after being to the hospital, like I said, for a couple of weeks. I'm doing alright, but my leg needs to be rested a bit higher. This is the only issue. I'm having pain issues and stuff, but I think I'm up to be able to record again. And what I plan to do is, from tomorrow onwards, I want to have a 2-day schedule, because right now I'm not working, so I have more time to produce some videos and actually get some new decks online, as we have the new patch hitting now. I was thinking about uploading a video on the weekend, but I had a headache and stuff, and pain issues and stuff like that, so I decided against it. But now I actually want to do it together with the patch, and we have it hit yesterday actually, but the changes didn't get through by now for some reason. I don't know. I was playtesting a bit today with some of my decks I created. I wasn't lazy in that time, but they didn't have it live now actually. I mean, I downloaded some files, but for some reason the changes didn't get through up to now, like right now that I'm recording this video. Maybe they're online already, but they will hit in it's just a matter of time when it hits. Without any further rambling here, I will say that I spoiled myself a bit with seeing the reaction of Mogwai in talking about this patch, but I'm trying to not repeat myself or repeat him rather with this patch notes reaction or discussion rather, but instead I want to keep it a bit short and also give my thoughts on what this patch is and what it's not. I think it's a very good patch overall. There are some changes that I think aren't, or could be different, but I'm happy overall about these changes, that we don't have to face Twisted Fate Fizz anymore and stuff like that. But yeah, let's actually dive into this. So first of all, they are showing us the Metagame Snapshot, which is the stats basically from the most popular decks in the meta, and the most efficient ones with the highest win rate. You can check that out if you want to. Like I said, there's pretty obnoxious decks like Twisted Fate Fizz with a 65% win rate and stuff, and they look at that and see that there are issues, and then they are balancing it, which is what they should do more often, in my opinion. But maybe they will get back to that, because they were at that point before, I think, and they decided to get a bit more lazy with that. I think they had a particular team that was actually taking care of balancing, but it is what it is. So first of all, we have Twisted Fate, which now needs to draw 9 cards to level up. This is, I think, not too big of a nerf. I thought they would rather nerf some of his Destiny cards, maybe remove the attune from the blue card, or maybe nerf the damage from the stun from the gold card, or anything like that. But they decided to not touch that at all, and rather give him the 9+ cards now to draw, which is, I don't know if I'm really happy about this change, because the problem that, like Mogwai also said, pushed him over the edge, is this 1-mana Piltover card. This was introduced where when you would discard it, you would draw a fleeting card. And this is what really was the problem with him. So if you don't play him together with Piltover and Zaun, you really have a hard time leveling up Twisted Fate now. So really, I mean, it was hard before, leveling him up without Piltover and Zaun, but now it's even harder. So without this broken combo of Rummage and this Stress Test was the name, this will be really hard to level up. So I'm not a huge fan of it, also because they I will just talk about this directly, because it's directly connected to him. His signature spell, which is Pick a Card, now draws him not 3 cards but 2 cards, and they reduce the mana cost by 1. So instead of 3 cost, draw 3, you have 2 cost, draw 2. Also, same effect next round and fleeting, which is bad. I think, like, the problem is if they see that some card is overpowered, they tend to double nerf it, and I think that's the wrong way to go. You should first nerf it a bit. Maybe it would be enough to just nerf pick a card and then check if he's viable or not, and not directly have him nerfed double. So he actually, if you use his signature spell, you need to draw 2 more cards now instead of, or you have a 2 draw card nerf instead of only 1. So this is, I'm not too happy about this, but it's okay that they changed him because he was just too strong before. But again, maybe just nerf one thing and then check it out and maybe nerf it later down the line. Then we have Fiera, which is something I'm super happy about. They nerfed 1 health point from her. So the Shen Fiera list isn't that good anymore. This is really a big deal, having her at 2 mana, 2 life, because there are, at this stage of the game where you are 3 mana, you normally have units out that you always have to pump her up. Like, and if you know you face Fiera, you just don't drop any units that have 1 attack, or yeah, basically 1 attack only, because everything that has 2 attack and more, you need to actually pump up or give a barrier or whatever to the Fiera to actually now trade into things, because before she could also just get the 2 attack followers and just kill them without any danger, or they would just go for it first, see if you respawn. If you respawn, they will buff her, and now they have to buff her right away, which is a big deal, because they have to directly give out the answer instead of keeping it on the back and waiting for your answer to pump up your unit she's facing. Yeah, really big deal. Really happy about this, because I also said it in the past that I'm not too happy about this, you know, have a card win the game. I like that we have different ways to win the game, but I think Fiera is more of the toxic side from the alternative way getting win. So I'm really happy to see this. I think now she is actually in a balanced way, because you still need to build around her. Of course, you need always to build around her if you have her in deck. She's never something you have besides everything else, because her raw stats aren't good, and the fact, so you always want to play for her as an alternate win condition, and this is now way more balanced. Then we have, I need to speed up a bit, sorry. Then we have Jarvan, who also got a +1/+1 buff. Before he was a 5/3, now he's a 6/4, and will later on then get to 7/5, which is, again, too much for me. I think he was underpowered, don't get me wrong. He definitely needed enough. This was also my opinion when they released him. But the only problem for me was that he was too weak. So only buff him to 1 health more, to a 5/4 would be enough to me. Because his effect and his level up version is very good. And also, like, having him burst speed plate is something very good. And with having him getting 1 attack more, I think they push it over the edge again. So again, just buff him for 1 stat line and check later down the line. And yeah, I think this is due to the fact that they really balance patch every 2 months or something, feels like that. And so they overbuff things sometimes, and I think that's not the right way to go. But again, I'm happy about a buff for him, but 1 health would be enough. With Joanna, the problem was that obviously in her human form she can't have Fury, because Fury is something that only dragons have. So lore-wise it was alright, but the problem was that she was just not viable. And if you buff her stats even more, she would be too broken probably. So they decided to give her Fury and fuck the lore, basically. but instead, in exchange for that, they reduced her attack by 1, which is now a healthy thing to have. When she attacks, she will be a 4/5 and a threat at 4 mana. So she actually can now trade into smaller minions and grow stronger from the get-go. And this is something very important, I think, because at the early stage of the game, at the round 4, or you can cheat her out at round 3 with the prophecy lady there, this is actually a big threat, and you can pick off small units and grow her stronger in the early game. And this is something that Shyvana needed, I think. So probably she will see play, and I think it's a healthy buff. Then we have Lulu. She is buffed in attack by 1. Again, not too happy about this. I am happy that Lulu gets some love, because right now she's trash. But they attacked, they buffed her attack by 1. Like, the problem with support units, with a strong support effect like she has, it's very strong effect, they lack life and not attack. This is not the right way to go, to my opinion. They should buff the health by 1, so she is a 2/4, and then she would be great. Because the problem with Lulu is that at 3 mana, there are a lot of blockers that will just block the 3 life of her if you don't have a challenger on board to grab him away, or the unit. And then she will just die to a block, so you can't attack. Or she will die to get excited, or whatever. And with 4 health, this champion would be way better, to my opinion. She doesn't need this 1 attack. You want her for the effect, and not for, and also the level up spells that she creates, and not having her dealing more damage. I don't think this is the right way to go with her. So, to me, it would be better to actually just buff the life instead of the attack. We talked about the big card already. Riggy Bellyfish, this is exactly what I thought they would go with, and I'm happy they did. Because the Riggy Bellyfish really fast can get to 0 mana cost, and having a 3/1 elusive for nothing is just too strong. And also you create a 1 cost spell in hand with him. So for 0 mana you get value, a lot of value. And with the enhanced whatever spell, the 2 mana burst where you pump him up, you know that from if you played Runeterra lately, the TFs, they always copy him and have him at 4/2. Now it's a 3/2 and still strong, but not too OP like it was before. And I'm happy they did this particular change. This is exactly what I wanted the Wiggly Burgerfish to be, and it is there. Then we have the Wretches, which were buffed in attack. Don't think that it's needed, because the effect for deep decks is very strong already, tossing 3 for a 1 mana unit and having a body with it. So I don't think that the Wretches needed the buff there, but they decided to go with it. I don't think there will be OP or anything like that, but I think there are other cards that need love instead of the Wretches. That's I think that what I wanted to say. Then we have the Dreadway. If you don't know, there was you probably do know, there was a combo with Concurrent Timelines, where you play Concurrent Timelines, then you play the Ladros for 9 mana and transform it to the Dreadway, and then you OTK the enemy nexus without any interaction, besides silencing the Dreadway or killing the Dreadway after. But being a 4/8, it was just almost impossible, and you almost always die. If you have an answer, they just play another Ladros and get the combo. Back to it. I mean, it is, to be fair, it is still a combo because you combine 2 cards with another, right? So, but it was a pretty lazy way to go, and it was frustrating to play against. So they decided to reduce the cost by 1, so you can't change the Ladros into a Dreadway with the Concurrent Timelines. And now it's actually playable with Gangplank decks, and I'm happy to see that. And I definitely will see into that, because now it's at the mana from the Leviathan from Swain, right? Where you tutor the Swain out. Here you tutor the Gangplank out, and you have the strong effect, doubling all damage by, doubling all damage basically, by attack from units or spells, damage-based spells. So yeah, was just something that I was also anticipating they would go with that, and also happy about this change. Then we have the Shadow Assassin coming back to life again, being 3 mana 2/2 for some time. It was nerfed to a 3 mana 1/2. We still saw some play, but not too much. So they decided to buff her attack again and nerf her life, which is a good thing to have for an elusive unit. So I think this is also a good way to go, and not being overpowered and a must play in every Ionia deck, because it cycles itself, and this is always something very strong in the card game. So yeah, healthy change, and I think a good change. Then we have a Fey Guide, which has an, I think, underestimated effect. Granting elusive is a big deal, and it wasn't played basically because it was bad stats. 4 mana 3/3 isn't too good. And yeah, you have it at slow speed, this effect. So I think it's getting closer to being balanced at that point. But I will say that we will probably see play of him, and we will see more elusives in the future. This is what I'm anticipating with this. And also, yeah, now that we see Ionia buffs all over the place, Ionia is one of the elusive colors that we have, or regions rather, that we have. So yeah, could be dangerous. Let's see. Then we have the Legion Rearguards, which is coming back to 3/2. It was at that point before, and they nerfed him because the Noxus aggro was just too strong. And I think they are reacting to this 1-drop from Shurima that they introduced, being a 1 mana 3/1 without the downside of not blocking. So they had to buff this guy. And yeah, I'm a bit scared of more aggro decks being with Noxus and Piltover and so on. We saw that in the past. Being a bit lazy in deck building, to my opinion, and also to thinking about things. You know, you don't need a big brain for aggro. It's fun sometimes, but most of the time it's just playing your cards and burn, and if you are fast enough, you win. If you don't, you lose. It's not too interesting of a way to build a deck, so I guess they had to. Then we have the Sea Scarab, and I'm super happy that this was also, when I talked about the new cards, they had a particular card package where they released cards from every region, and this was my favorite card there, so I'm super happy they're buffing this, because being a 1/2, it was just too weak. I don't know if they needed a 2/3 at that point, but 1/3 definitely was the way to go, at least to have this engine longer on the board, because you could just remove it too easily. And so you can't have the engine that you actually want to build around. And I do have a Maokai deck or that I want to show in the future, so stay tuned for that if you are into deep strategies. Then we have the Esteemed Hierophant, which is now, instead of taking the countdown of the Buried Sun Disc 2 rounds, now it takes it down 3 rounds, which is also a really healthy buff, to my opinion, because the 2 was actually useless. Like, you never get at that point where this actually matters. You always get the Sun Disc out by leveling up 2 of the Ascendants, and not by this dude right here. And now he is actually a viable thing to go if you have enough of those dudes actually out. I mean, there are resummon effects and everything, and I think I want to look into that. But yeah, healthy change. Yeah, I'm just talking too much about this. It's a healthy thing to go, and I'm also looking forward to the other Shurima cards where this guy can shine more, because right now you don't play him ever. with a 3 rounds discount, or counting down maybe more. Then we have the Bone Crusher getting 1 life more. I think this is probably still trash, unfortunately. The attack is super high, but it has no effects whatsoever, so it's just a bad card. And at the point where you have Reputation, you don't really care for mana that much. So yeah, it's probably still a bad card. And Aphelios got nerfed, finally. Because I was so sick of seeing Aphelios with Twisted Fate, Aphelios with Zoe, Aphelios with Aphelios. It was just all over the place, this fucking guy. And I was happy about him being so unique in how he plays, but he is an engine, and I said it in the past, it's too flexible. He can deal damage, he can lifesteal, he can stun, he can overwhelm, and he can create or tutor a 2 mana cost follower from your deck. And this for 2 mana, this is just way, way, way too strong. And I mean, if you have one of these spells as a 2 mana main deckable, it would be broken, and everybody would play that. And it doesn't make that much of a difference if you have it as a slow speed thing created from the champion. And with the Moon Temple, it was just way too strong. Like, how could you not see that, right? That this would be a problem. It was, yeah, this is long-awaited nerf. I don't think that making it 3 cost is the way to go, though. I think I would rather cut out some of this utility, like probably get rid of the Overwhelm. This was something too strong, like cut some of these spells, only have it maybe 3 and not 5. It was just too flexible and doing too many things at once with 1 card, and also having it as an engine. Yeah, those kind of champions are really hard to balance, I will give you that, but it was very clear that this dude was overpowered. Yeah, so they reduced the Gifts from Beyond, his signature spell, to 1 to actually compensate, and it still has the same mana cost. This is completely fine. And the Veiled Temple, I talked about it a second ago. Now, it doesn't give you +1/+1, it gives you only +1 attack right now. And this is also something that I thought, or that I anticipated as a nerf for that card. So also happy that they went with that, because the 2 mana refill is very, very strong, and people didn't see it in the first place, I think. But now I think we have the proof that it's just too OP, and yeah, +1 attack is okay. You can buff that, but having it buffed the 1 HP, if you want to remove something that would just react with a burst speed spell and buff the, yeah, mainly the Aphelios is buffed by the Temple. Now it doesn't buff the health anymore, and this is really, really important. And I think that this archetype is butchered too much with this nerf and this nerf together. And also like the Twisted Fate nerf. So if you play Twisted Fate Aphelios right now, you will have a really hard time. But that's basically all we have. I didn't manage to keep it very short. I'm sorry for that. We are at 24 minutes. But let me actually only just say leave a few words about Earth. Earth is, yeah, I'm actually a big boomer in the sense that I was playing League of Legends when it was in the beta. And yeah, at the first April the 1st that they had after the release of League of Legends, they introduced this champion, which is Earth, to give you a little bit of background. And Earth happened to have a spatula and a minigun, so that's why we have the miniguns on his board here as a decoration, and the spatula as a place for your miniature, or the yeah, what is it called? The Guardian, right? As a placeholder for your Guardian. And you actually can have a mini Earth. And I think they didn't... I haven't played League in a while, but I think they didn't introduce Earth as a champion up to now still. So it stays a meme and April's Fool's joke thing. And they introduced it to Legends of Runeterra right now as well. And I'm happy they do so. So probably I will get this package because I was always a fan of Earth. The what's that race called? The animal, the sea dog. At least that's in my in my language. Maybe in yours not. Yeah, whatever. I will stop talking at that point. Thank you very much for watching. At that point, like I said, from tomorrow onwards, I will have some new deck lists going on, and I hope you stick around for that. Subscribe if you are excited, or if you want to check that out. And that's everything that I got for you. And as always, stay legendary, be legendary, and Vlad out.